Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is, wherever you are. Thank you for listening to the Backlog Busting Project. It is not only the first episode of 2016, but it is also episode 25. What in the world? My name is Wes. With me, as always, is Randy.
So, Wes, how was your break? How was Christmas? How was the New Year's? How are you?
Oh, boy. Let's just say, hope, there's, no place to go but up from here, and I feel like Shania Twain right now.
You feel like a woman?
No.
Is that even the same reference? Did I name the wrong person?
No, you got the right, you got the right country artist, but, yeah, I was going for she has a song called Up, where it's basically...
I don't know, I don't listen to country. But, whatever.
Yeah.
To each their own. But yes, this is episode 25. This is the first episode of 2016, and it is also the first episode for us as being associated with the W2M network, which is run by my buddies Sean and Gary, who I do the football podcast with. They do the wrestling podcast, known them through 411. So we are expanding a little bit to places that we get to reach. So anyone that is on the W2M network that has decided to check us out for the first time because of them, thank you very much, and we hope we don't disappoint you too much.
Yeah. For those of you who somehow found us before W2M, nothing's going to change. We're still going to be posting to backlogbusting.com, and, that'll propagate out to, like, iTunes or your favorite, podcasting service, and Stitcher and everything.
Yes.
It's just, it'll be available on Spreaker now as well under the W2M network banner. We've got some further plans for expansion that we're actually, do we want to announce this now or at the end of the show?
Let's do it now, because if we do it later, we may have lost some ears, so.
Yeah. Okay then. So, we've been kind of hinting at this for the last couple of episodes. Our 1 year anniversary is coming up at the start of March. And we've been kind of cooking something up, behind the scenes. A little bit of just a little bit kind of a background here on this. I don't know about you, but when we first started this project, I took it as an opportunity to try something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone. Because you've known me for a while, and I think you would say that outside of being forced to do it for, like, this, or for, some of the other things we've done together, I don't talk much.
That's true.
So, because honestly, I feel like, well, look what's happening right now. I'm kind of stumbling over a bit. That happens a lot, embarrasses the hell out of me. So to be forced to sit here and talk with you for an hour and a half about video games, and I'm making it sound like I don't want to deal with that, which is, nothing is further from the truth, but you get
No, it's the truth. I drag you over here once every 2 weeks.
But anyway, so, try something a little bit outside of our comfort zone and hopefully have fun doing it. Well, we're going to take that a little step further for our 1 year anniversary.
A giant step forward.
Yeah. March, 4th or 5th, off the top of my head. I just blanked. Sorry. But
great announcement.
Yeah.
3rd, sir.
March 3rd, excuse me, at 5 p.m., we will be starting a 24-hour charity live stream via Extra Life, raising money for Sacred Heart Children's Hospital in Spokane, Washington. We will be playing a whole bunch of games. We're still kind of getting the schedule sorted out. But the real big part of this is we will be doing it live from a actual place of business instead of one of our homes. We'll be doing it live from Lancer Lanes and Casino in Clarkston, Washington for 24 hours.
Or until they kick us out. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. That is basically happening, which terrifies me and excites me to no end to say. But yeah, 24-hour charity live stream for via Extra Life for the Sacred Heart Children's Medical Center in Spokane, and it's going to be a bit of an interesting experience.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking for us because we are really pushing ourselves out there and doing something new. And anytime you do something for the first time, it's it's scary, and now took it to a new level already by having it in a banquet hall at Lancer Lanes, which, again, Lance, thank you very much for letting us do it there. But yeah, listen, if you want more information, it'll be all over Facebook. It'll be on our website. Like, as it gets closer and details get ironed out, we're, like you said, it's 24 hours of gaming. We're gonna do a lot of audience participation, especially anyone that is around the area that wants to come hang out with us. You're more than welcome. If you want to join us, we'll be playing some Jackpack on the 3rd that night. If you want to do it online with us or anything like that, again, more information will be all over the Facebook and the website as it gets closer.
Yep. So, yeah, exciting things happening there. But now that we've gotten all the self-promotion out of the way and self-reflection and unfortunate utterances of my taste in country music.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, Wes.
Let's go ahead and move on to the podcast itself now. And as always, Player A. And first up is a game that I actually have been kind of excited for. Kind of flew under the radar for a bit for me, though. But I remember when this was announced, I was like, oh, hell yes. And that is Amplitude for the PlayStation 4. Developed by Harmonix Music Systems and published, I believe it's self-published or published by Sony, one of the two. But this is, of course, their basically reboot of one of their game franchises that they did before Rock Band, where you control the freak, I think it's called, technically, on a multi-track little, like, tube, almost, for lack of a better term. And you've got 3 buttons to hit in time with each of the instruments of a particular music track. And, as you keep kind of getting in rhythm and completing each track and segment and scoring points, and with absolutely trippy, amazing visuals. So, I remember playing the original Amplitude on PlayStation 2, and it was actually one of my first experiences with console gaming online, because, I had the broadband adapter. So, to play this again will be actually kind of fun. I'm gonna go play.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play as well. I don't have the history with it. I've heard of the game. I don't think I've ever played it. I'm sure I've played many games that ripped it off with its gaming style. Oh, I just said what? If you needed a sneeze, I was going to let you do that. And
I was trying to yawn. Oh. Sorry.
Okay. But it's just not something that's been part of my gaming history. But I've started to learn, especially with the PlayStation 4, and starting to get more digital with some of my collection, which hurts. I'm finding myself playing more just goof off games, kind of like I'd see Amplitude as, where it's something you can play for 20 minutes real fast, like something I'll download and it'll just be there. Like, I find myself going, I have all these games I need to play. I need to play games for the podcast, or just games that I just need to finish up or want to play. But you know what? I'm just going to play Peggle 2 for a little bit, because it's just right there. And I think Amplitude would be right in that category. So this is a play for me as well.
All right, then. Yeah. Of course, I should also mention one of the things about that makes this interesting is Amplitude was actually kickstarted. So, yeah. It's good to see that it's actually finally coming out, and that it's not Kickstarter vaporware. So, yeah. Next up is something else rather unfortunate.
Well, you see, at the beginning of the year, we are back into dark days and for another month or so. We've hit the holiday rush, and now we're left with remakes and collections and this.
Yeah. It's Avoider for the Wii U. Releasing on the 7th. I don't believe I mentioned Amplitude released on the 5th. But there you go. And this was developed by RC Madiax, and I honestly don't give a fuck if I butchered that name or not. And what this basically is this is a cell phone game where you are a triangle avoiding other triangles, and you control your triangle by swiping on the touchscreen of the gamepad. And let's just say I'll be avoiding this game. Nay.
I think I've played many versions of this on my phone. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I always say that I would love to see more games like on the WiiU and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of them.
Yeah.
It's a nay.
No. Alright, moving right along. It's Gone Home, which already released on like the PC, and as anybody listening to this podcast probably knows, this game was a bit controversial content-wise, and that's putting it mildly. But it is coming out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I believe.
Yes.
It is coming out on the 12th.
Yes.
And it is developed by the Fulbright Company and self-published, I do believe. So, yeah, this is kind of an adventure game, I believe, is what they technically termed it as.
Kind of. I mean, it's... Listen. I played it on the PC. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to bring it up as far as this because it's coming to consoles, and I think it is worth the look for some people, pending price.
Yeah.
I haven't looked up the price on this game. If it is more than $10, I'm straight nay.
Yeah.
If it's less, because wasn't it like $20 to begin with? $30
I have no
maybe
idea.
On the PC?
I didn't follow the pricing of it. I just remember that, once people kind of played through it, and apparently there's like some super controversial thing about how the story presents itself, it became more about the controversy than it became about the game for me. So I didn't follow the pricing on Steam at all.
Well, we'll talk about that, off podcast. I'm curious what that controversy was, but I don't want to spoil it for people here, not in our review section. Mm-hmm. But listen, I really enjoyed the game. Well, the experience. It's not a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't. But if you want an interactive story that lasts, it's like 2-3 hours, maybe. Definitely look into it. Like, if you're really into these, like The Walking Deads and The Life is Strange's and things like that, you don't have choices in this. So I'm not going to say it's anything like that, but if you just, you're playing these for the story and getting to know these characters, I'm all for it. I enjoyed the experience, but I'm glad I got it on the Steam sale instead of paying the full price of it. So it's price, it's all about the price to me, but to me, I would play it again.
Alrighty. I have not played it. I am usually a fan of kind of like the story-based experience games. Unfinished Swan, for example.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say a very slight play on this as well. Same caveat as Randy. If it's like $20, then no. But yeah. That'd be about where my thoughts on it lie. The next game up is going to be the Resident Evil Origins Collection, releasing for the I almost said next gen, the current gen consoles, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, releasing on the 19th. And, of course, developed and published by Capcom. This is just, the HD collection of basically Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1. And Resident Evil 1, which the HD remake was obviously already out for the PlayStation family, will also be releasing as a standalone for the Xbox One around the same time. Having played 1, I'm going to actually say a very slight play on this one too, just because I've heard Resident Evil 0 is kind of is a pretty decent experience in and of itself. But at the same time, I could see the point for people, like you, who have been kind of anti-HD remake sort of thing, go, yeah, no. I already own this 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about pricing for me. If it's $60 for these two games, it's an absolute nay. I mean, I love the Resident Evil series. And it's really funny when you go back and look at this franchise and realize, you know, it really got going. Resident Evil was great. Resident Evil 2 is my favorite out of the whole series. 3 was kind of a spin-off, and Code Veronica was okay. But people always go, and then there was 4. And 4 was amazing, and it changed everything. Well, people always forget that the remake of Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0 are 2 of the best of the franchise, and you know, stick to how the original games go, and then 4 changed the mold, and, you know, people absolutely loved it, and then 5 went a step further in the wrong direction, and then 6 happened.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone went, oh my god, it's over. But everyone just, I don't know why, like, to me, the general public just kind of forgets that 0 and the remake happened. They just go, 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, and then 4 was amazing. It's like, no, these 2 were great and stuck to the original stuff. So if you thought 6 was just too much, absolutely pick this collection up and remember how great it was before the Resident Evil change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I don't think I would be about negative as you seem to be about 4, 5, and 6.
No, I love 4.
Yeah.
And 5 was enjoyable, especially when you play co-op because the computer drove me nuts. Mm-hmm. And let's just say I own 6 and I've played an hour of 6, and I just can't do more of it. It's not right.
I think in one of our previous attempts at content before the Backlog Busting Project, we were sitting there recording, and you came up, you said we need to try and play Resident Evil 6. And I believe my exact reaction was, I think I'd rather stick my dick in a power sander. I don't know if you remember that conversation or not.
I tried to block it out. I appreciate you bringing it back up.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Think of the emotional scarring I just produced. All right, moving on.
No. Speaking of gory, let's move on to our co-play game.
Well fucking done.
Yeah.
Good job. Grade A.
Our first co-play game of 2016. You played the first one.
Yep.
To catch up to me as far as this series goes, and that is God of War 2 that we played. It came out originally for the PlayStation 2 on March 13th, 2007. Published by Sony Computer Entertainment.
Developed by, I believe, Sony Santa Monica. Yeah.
Santa Monica. All that stuff that you like to put in there that I suck at.
Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah. This is, of course, the second game of the God of War series. It's all about... it basically picks up right where one ended, almost. Kratos just ascended to the throne of the God of War after killing Ares with Pandora's box in the first game. And it basically sets up the storyline of Kratos is such a dick to the other gods that the other gods basically shun him out. So he spends all of his time down in Greece helping Sparta, wreck shit. And then, the gods finally go, okay, here's one of my first problems with this game story. And I know God of War storyline is just token there. But the fact that Kratos falls for the, Zeus giving him the sword and literally saying, drain your godlike energy into this sword. I.e., it leaves your body and goes into this sword. The very fact that Kratos falls for that shit irked me.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with Kratos, and yes, it was really dumb of him, but I think that's just him. It was a good storytelling plot because that's what Kratos would do. Kratos is so full of himself. He's not the brightest tool. He's not a flashlight. How about that? That's where I was going.
Not the
with
sharpest tool in the shed. There we go.
I'm putting things together and mixing things up, and I'm making my own. But he's not smart. So, of course he's going to fall for it. To me, the thing that got me, it's one of those things where they went, oh, we have something with God of War. Mm-hmm. I guess we better make a second one. But we just made him an all-powerful god. What do we do?
Yeah.
Well, we give him the Samus treatment and take away all of your abilities every time. So you have to reboot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say I think they kind of, having not played 3, I think they kind of averted that with the ending to this game. Because, yes, he still has, the Titan's abilities. But he's still not quite God of War status.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now they made 2 knowing that they were going to make 3.
Yeah. They obviously did.
I'm saying they made 1, and then the reception was great, and then they went, okay, we have to make 2.
Yeah.
But we made a god, so what do we do? And they made the Samus treatment for him, which I'm okay with, I totally understand, but it was just their way of getting him there was whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just stick on story, I guess. We'll just go with there. Again, nothing really happens. Zeus, quote unquote, betrays Kratos in his eyes. So the whole game, it's, I have to do this to get back to Zeus.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is storyline A to Z.
Yeah. It's basically, Kratos gets killed by Zeus, while he's basically having his dying breath getting dragged down to Hades. He has a vision of the Titan, Gaia, and Gaia tells him, okay, go find the Sisters of Fate, and they can help you turn back time to prevent the betrayal. Which, time travel, the absolute most headache-inducing thing about any form of creative storytelling is when you introduce time travel. But,
dreams.
True. But, so he goes off on this long journey to find the Sisters of Fate, and then basically runs into, pretty much every Greek Greek mythology icon that wasn't already in God of War 1. You get the wings of Icarus, Boy,
was he just thrown in there.
Yeah.
That was, I think, out of all of the mythological characters, he was just so shoehorned in there for a second.
Yeah.
It just out of nowhere, hi, I'm Icarus.
Yeah. And what? Then, I also kind of felt that way about Prometheus.
That's the one where you fight him in the water, right?
No.
Which
Prometheus is the guy that's tied to one of the hands, and the eagle is pecking out his insides.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then gets healed magically at night. But I felt that one was kind of thrown in as oh hey, Kratos is a dick, so he's going to kill this guy to advance. Yeah. And this time it just happens to be a major figure of Greek mythology. But so he does that, goes across finally finds the Temple of Fates, basically. The Fates, basically. And the Sisters of Fate basically tell him, no, we have ordained that you're going to lose, go fuck yourself. So he kills the Sisters of Fate.
Well, he kills the Sisters of Fate after the Sisters of Fate's area trolls the hell out of you the whole time, going, now it's the Sisters of... Oh, just kidding, now go do this.
Yeah.
And then after you go do this, okay, now... Oh, no, now I have to go do this. I have no problem with it. It's not, useless extending of the gameplay. I just think that it was such a point, again, it's A to Zeus. That's it. And all you have to do is get to the Sisters of Fate. And then, so they have a roadblock at the beginning where you crash land into Golem's place or whatever that was. I don't know Greek mythology. I apologize. And then from there, you're basically there to the sisters. And they were like, well, we can't make a 4-hour game. So we're going to throw everything in this area at you. And it was just, I don't know, it was a little off-putting. So many just Rick rolls, I guess, basically. It's like, no, just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing I noticed was at one point, I live streamed most of my playthrough of this game. And at one point, you reach what is called the Palace of the Fates, and I'm like, oh hey, game over. Oh wait, this is the palace, not the temple. You know? And it's just like, you know, they definitely had some pacing issues with this game, I would say. So you find and kill the Sisters of Fate, and you rewind your thread of destiny and go back in time and face Zeus. And, then you beat Zeus and, are about to strike the killing blow, and you kill Athena instead. And, Athena goes, well, your Zeus is, it's in your bloodline, you're Zeus's son, and Zeus hated his father too.
No!
Yeah. And then, so, that happens. You go back in time again, except this time you go all the way back to what is termed the Great War, when Zeus and the Titans fought, and the gods of Olympus beat the Titans. And Kratos convinces the Titans to come back with him to his to his present, and go after the gods again. And, the last shot of God of War 2 is the Titans climbing Olympus with Kratos on Gaia's back, yelling up at Zeus, going, I'm going to kill you. And then, the end begins, ding, credits roll, see you in God of War 3. But, so, here is one of my main problems with this game, and now this series as a whole, I think. And it ties back to something you said earlier about the transition from 1 to 2. In that, they made him a God of War in 1, and, a lot of epic shit happened in 1. Now they go, okay, how do we top that in 2? Because, let's be honest here, the opening level of God of War 2 is you descending as the God of War into, Rhodes, the city of Rhodes, and you end up fighting the Colossus of Rhodes, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. And that's the opening level of the game. That's like end boss material in most other series. Am I wrong? Yeah.
No. I mean, absolutely. But I think they looked at it going, how do we top what they did with the first level of God of War?
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you, but what my problem is with it is it pins the dramatic intensity up to 11, and so it's just kind of like, okay, because you need to have that little, that breathing room. You need to have a minute to unwind and come down and then come back up to peak. When you're entirely, maxed out on the scale for the entirety of the game, basically.
I think that's what they were trying to do with the puzzle section. Is slow things back down.
Oh, yeah, but I guess I'm talking narrative-wise.
No, I got you.
Because at this point, it's now like, okay, we've killed the Sisters of Fate, the three women that basically governed every single thing in Greek mythology. Now what? Yeah.
So here's the thing I've now that I've played 2 that I'm curious about. It almost feels like with God of War 2, yeah, they wanted like the battles to be more epic than 1 or attempt to, but it just felt like storyline wise and why the pacing felt so off. It was once they knew that people wanted a second one, they knew they were going to make it a trilogy.
Yeah.
And they did the whole Halo part where their second game felt like there was nothing to it because they wanted to stretch it out enough to be a game, but then set up a giant third one. Mm-hmm. So then it's like just a placeholder where you can play as Kratos for a little bit, but nothing gets done.
I would say that a little bit gets done because obviously he gets depowered and then also sets in motion the Titans coming back. But
one mission gets done. It's, you've lost your power. Get your power. Yeah. That's it. It's just what it did. Yeah. Well, not all of it, but get your revenge.
No, I get your point.
It's like, well, you have to go to the Sisters of Fate. And then the last thing you do is you defeat the Sisters of Fate. But, I mean, that's storyline. There's not much there. Let's get on to the meat of it. Mm-hmm. Let's tackle bosses, since that is obviously
Yeah.
huge parts of this.
Yes.
Was there a favorite boss of yours, and was there a least favorite boss for you?
I am gonna have to say that both the Kraken and the first sister of Fate, I've forgotten her name, but the first sister of Fate you fight, the one that basically gives you I almost said gives you the power to control time, but that's not typically her, because the other two are Atropos and Clotho. And Clotho I actually absolutely hated. But, yeah. Her boss fight was pretty fun. Because it was grapple around the area to avoid her, area attack, and then also use the Golden Fleece to parry her energy balls back at her. Which, actually, now that I think about it, that was one of the primary mechanics they had in this game, was a lot of the later bosses were, you need to use the Golden Fleece to parry, or you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Like, Zeus in particular, holy shit, the final boss. I think without the Golden Fleece, I would have been driven absolutely fucking insane.
I think, to me, the bosses I liked were the ones that added puzzle elements to it, which is why I agree with you where the Kraken was absolutely phenomenal, because, I mean, there are some parts where you're going to have to beat him up, but it was more, how do you make him vulnerable to your attacks? So it adds, because that's what this game is. It's go around and hack and slash for a while, and then solve a puzzle. And then hack and slash for a while, and then solve a puzzle. So it was the times where they put it together that I absolutely loved. Like, the ones where, like, the one that I was trying to call the person you were talking about, where you're basically in the water, or whatever, and his ability is he's invisible, but he's in the water, so you can see him anyways.
Perseus. There we go.
Yeah, thank you. It's bosses like that where I went, meh.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That one in particular was pretty fucking lazy. Yeah. I do like the moment they had right before the Kraken, actually, because it was kind of a little mid-boss fight where you walk in and it gets dark and you're just walked basically into a side-scroller almost. Yeah. And you're fighting this mysterious swordsman who, honestly, does have quite a few decent moves, and you're like, okay, who the hell is this guy? You finally get him down and you boom, throw him through the glass window, right, and come down into the courtyard and, oh, hey, it's that one soldier, that was staying true to you when you got depowered as a god, and he goes, well, you're still the true god of war, let's go fucking do this. And you find out it's him because in another kind of, Zeus is totally a dickbag to Kratos moment, apparently Zeus went, well, I know Kratos is no longer the god of war, but I'm going to go level Sparta to the fucking ground because why the hell not?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm a little curious. I think you mentioned to me that you actually did not like Clotho, the third sister of Fate. Whereas...
What? There's three of them?
Yeah.
Oh, the fat one.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't realize that was actually a sister.
Yeah, that's
a sister.
That's the third sister of Fate. Yeah.
Whew.
But the reason why I said that is because you mentioned you liked the puzzle part of the Kraken fight.
Well, okay. So here's the thing with that fight that drove me nuts more than anything, and it'll lead us perfectly into where my main complaint of this game is. I liked parts of this fight because, again, it is 95% puzzle. Like, you really don't even do anything to her other than solve puzzles to make her hands stop kicking your ass. It was the controls really started, like, just destroying this boss for me. Like, trying to climb a rope for me is the most impossible thing, it seemed like, to do. Especially when, like, one of the arms you stun down and you climb the rope and you pull the switch and the thing falls
God.
For whatever reason, you knock it down and it would take me 4 attempts to get onto the rope
Yep.
To be able to get on there. And it was, at that point, it became frustrating. Because the boss is not even hard. At all. Especially when you get up top and then you can slow the time down. And that was fun. Once you get up on the third level of this boss.
And when you're face to face with her.
Yeah. And you have to find out, like, okay, you have to climb up here to unhook this, and then you have to bring it down, and then it brings out this big, giant, axe-looking thing, which is cool, and then I'm going, okay, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
And then you realize you have to turn it sideways and stick it straight up, just kidding. Those parts were cool. It was just, I didn't like it because the controls got in the way. And that's where I look down on this game a little bit. It's because this is supposed to be a hack and slash. This is the king of quick time events, where everything where you're hitting buttons and it's just supposed to go just like this. And it doesn't when you're fighting. It just drives me nuts. And you didn't have as much problem with it as I did.
Yeah.
And I forgot before we started recording, I was going to load it up and show you what it was doing. Because it could just be my controller has lost its mind in the last couple weeks. But if I basically pushed in my R3 button, which is your main moving stick, and
you mean L3?
Excuse me, L3. Sorry, L3. You push in L3 as you're moving around, and you're moving it, it would do random shit. Like, all of a sudden, my sub-weapon was equipped, or my magic changed. So anytime, like, the Medusas would, stone you and you have to wiggle your left stick. And I attempted once to barely hold on to the handle and with my fingers move the stick. So I'm not touching any other controllers. Once I became unstoned, my sub-weapon was on and I was in a different magic. It drove me absolutely insane because there were two magic spells that I used. The whole time. And it was mostly the electric one.
Yeah, it was... I'm going to assume Kronos' Fury and Atlas Quake.
Yes, those were the two I used. The other two I had especially the Medusa head one.
Yeah, Medusa is still fucking useless.
Okay,
I did get a couple... I did use it the one time I used Medusa's... and actually it's not Medusa's in this game. I forget what... That was the other thing that bugged me, is the magic in this game is almost literally just magic from the first game with a different name.
Yeah.
Like, Kronos' Rage is Poseidon's Rage, basically. A little bit different because it's like balls instead of the, actually now that I think about it, Atlas Quake is actually Poseidon's Rage, except Earth Element this time.
Yeah.
Kronos' Fury is actually kind of a pretty decent electric spell, but still, 2 out of the 4 spells in this game were pretty much serial number filed off from God of War 1. And it was just kind of like, okay.
Well, and honestly, I had no problem with it because it's been a while since I played God of War, so I didn't recognize it as much. It was just, to me, the controls were rough. Especially, in the puzzles, where I enjoyed the puzzles. They drove me nuts sometimes because they are difficult different puzzles are actually really difficult, which I liked. Was really racking your brain, taking a break from hack and slash and doing this. But when you are in a timing puzzle and you go up to a box or a lever and the R1 button prompt comes up on your screen, again, in a game that is the king of QuickTime events, if I hit R1 and that prompt is up, you better goddamn grab whatever I'm supposed to be grabbing. And it doesn't all the time. And it drove me absolutely bonkers. And I know I'm being rough on it for it, but in any other game, I'd probably be softer on because, like, okay, you just have to be just lined up. This is the king of QuickTime events.
Yeah.
The event popped up on my screen, and I hit the button you asked me to.
Yep.
Do it.
Yep.
You've shown that you can make Kronos do all sorts of shit if I hit a button. Grab the box when the prompt comes up.
Yeah. Again, you alluded to it. I didn't really have these issues with this game. I did have the one you pointed out where I, basically went nope.abby all over the place, where the particular rope combo in the Clotho puzzle room, but was a sticking point for me too. But that one I felt was more on me just kind of getting stuck on shit.
And listen, if I hadn't struggled through different parts of this with the controls, I would have thought the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was just over and over and over.
Well, the other thing I was going to say was I think you may want to look into maybe trying to use a different controller or, figuring that out because literally none of that happened to me.
I was watching your stream once and your sub-weapon locked in and you went, I don't remember doing that.
Well, because the other thing I found out during the stream is my particular R2 button, I don't know if yours is really sensitive. Because there was another moment that happened where it was actually during the first Sister of Fate fight. I somehow managed to glitch out her AI, and we literally stood there staring at each other for a good half a minute. And you can't hear it because I'd forgotten to unmute my microphone. But I completely lost my shit laughing because I'm standing there waiting for, to parry an energy bomb, right? And she's just staring at me. And, 5 seconds pass, 10 seconds pass, and I'm like, are you gonna throw something at me? Anything? And a couple seconds pass, and I realize, oh shit, I broke her AI. I laughed for a bit, and then I went to go tell you to, hop on and see see I'd broken the game, and I had the DualShock 3 on my right knee, and I just went like this, and all of a sudden,
what?
I'd moved my right knee. Sorry.
It's an audio podcast.
Yeah, audio podcast. Yeah, my bad. I moved my right knee to, lean over towards my keyboard to do something, and my R2 button triggered, and, of course, I believe R2 casts magic, doesn't it?
R2.
R2 does your sub-weapon.
Yep.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, Kratos goes, oh, hey, you want me to equip the Barbarian's Hammer. Okay, vroom.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Speaking of magic, there's a lot of times where I tried to hit magic, and it wouldn't go. To the point at the beginning where I thought I had to hit L2 and square. So that's what I did for half the game was L2 and square until I started messing with it. Yes, again, I've had no problems with this controller before, so I'm trying, but it could be. It's one of those, it's weird.
Yeah.
And, I'm trying not to be over analytical about it. I enjoyed this game. I think I liked the first one better than the second. This one improves on things in a way, but still, it just feels like God of War version 2.
Yeah.
Which it is. It's God of War 2. Haha. Yeah. But it's it doesn't do enough different. Like you said, a lot of things are redone. And,
yeah.
And here's the thing, and I think I feel the same way about Twisted Metal now that I put my fingers on it, because it's the same people, right?
I believe it's the same, it was David Jaffe doing
but I don't know if it was the same team.
I think it might have been.
And here's my problem with God of War in a nutshell. I've been sitting here all day. I finished it earlier before we recorded, earlier today. So I've had a few hours to just kind of sit and think and try to figure out where I want to place this game. Mm-hmm. I do like it, but do I really like it?
Yeah.
Or is it just okay, but I think it's a good game? And here's the thing that I have learned about Jaffe that I think kind of puts me off, and it is style over substance. And that's exactly what Twisted Metal was. That's what both God of War games. It wants to look good more than it wants to play well. Mm-hmm. It's all about looking amazing and being, look at what you just made Kratos do by hitting one button, compared to making the gameplay work perfectly. I'm not saying the gameplay is terrible and it breaks the game.
Yeah.
It's just, I think they could have focused a little bit more on making it even more fluid, make it work just that much better. But they're all about making it look good and look crazy and over the top.
Yeah. Well, here, and, again, you couldn't hear it because my mic was muted at the time, during the stream, but as soon as the credits started rolling on 2, I kind of went, well, that sure was a game, and I kind of sat there and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to go play God of War 3 right now, I thought, I know for a fact that after I got done with 1, I was like, okay, let's give 2 a shot. You know, I'm on board with this. I'll play God of War 2. You know, let's see where this crazy train goes next. And now that I've played 2, I'm sitting there going, another game of this doesn't really sound all that fun to me. You know, and it was just a combination of things between the, you know, like I said, I think it's obvious by now with the type of games that I've been playing for the majority of the podcast, and honestly, the game I will be playing next, spoiler alert, you know, I'm very much a narrative kind of guy, story kind of guy. And when the story to this point has been kind of dramatic intensity 11 to the point where my ears are ringing, you know, I'm just kind of like over it, done. And I just didn't see enough out of the gameplay to drag me back to this series. So
I think the reason why I'm going to give God of War 3 a chance, and it'll be on the project at some point, whether it's a co-player or just me, is because I want to see what they do in evolution from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3. If they figured it out, if now with the more capacity, if things work better.
And also remember, between 2 and 3, David Jaffe left the company. And I believe his name was Cory Balrog, took over as the creative director of I almost said Uncharted 3. Holy shit. God of War 3. You know, so maybe a fresh set of, you know, a fresh creative mind might have done the series some good, but I just like, you know, it was very odd to have such a sharp drop in, okay, I want to play the next game for me. You know?
I hear you.
So, yeah, I'm not sure what to think about the game either, and I'm not sure if God of War 3 will be a co-play at some point at this juncture. So, yeah. Now we will move on to my game, which was Professor Layton and the Curious Village, developed by Level 5 and published by Nintendo. On the Nintendo DS. It originally released in the United States on February 10th of 2009? 8, okay. I was looking at the dates and I'm sitting there going, that can't be right. You know? 2 years for localization. Hello! Anyway, this is the first game in a series of basically puzzle collections, I'm going to say, well, actually I'm going to retract that. Basically a puzzle RPG. Because you play as Professor Layton and his assistant Luke, and you're a professor of, I believe it's archaeology, is his assigned title, but he is a mystery solver basically by what he wants to do. And one day he receives this summons to the mysterious town of Saint Mystere. And, where a heiress has gone, where a baron has died, and he's basically said, whoever can solve my riddle gets my fortune, essentially. So, Professor Layton goes to this town, and this game starts off with, the drawbridge is up, and the guy maintaining the drawbridge doesn't know which cog to put in, so you have a spatial analysis puzzle. And, honestly, I think Penny Arcade put it best when they said, one of their comics about this game basically has, Tycho as Professor Layton go, nobody in this goddamn game will help me unless I do their fucking math homework. Which, honestly, I don't see as a bad thing. I thought all the puzzles in this game were amazingly well designed. With a couple of exceptions, which we'll get to in a second. But, you know, I never felt like, personally, that this game had just straight up bullshit, are you kidding me, puzzle, you know, trick puzzles, basically, I guess is the term I'm looking for. You know, all the puzzles are well designed, and varied. They don't really go back to the well on any puzzle type, to me, to the point where I was going, okay, enough of this shit already. maybe the matchsticks puzzles got close, where they're like, you have this shape in a thing of matches, and moving only 3 matches can you make this shape. That one may have gotten a little bit overplayed, but other than that, a nice little variety of like logic puzzles or math puzzles, or again spatial analysis puzzles or shortest route puzzles, sort of thing, or I didn't have any problem with any of the puzzles, so, with the exception of, there are a couple of sliding block puzzles that I basically just went, oh, just fuck off. Where they get, those puzzles where they like, there's a ball here that's blocked in by all these sliding blocks. Move all the blocks out of the way and get the ball to the exit. Those puzzles were just, ugh. But, storyline-wise, basically, you're winding your way through trying to unlock the mysteries of this town, and I don't remember too much of it, specifically. What I do remember, though, and apparently this is very much a staple of this series, is there is an absolutely ludicrous plot twist at the end of this game. Which is, the Baron actually built this entire town out of clockwork fucking robots to protect his daughter. And test whoever decided to come in for the treasure. And I was just like, what? They just drop it on you and then it's basically like game over and I'm like, wait, what? What? Did that just happen? Is this real life?
It's not real. It's a video game.
Fuck you.
Yes.
But, so, I'm trying to stretch out here because I know I haven't gone 15 minutes, but it's very well designed. I really didn't have too many issues with it, because I'd seen some people talking about, overused puzzles, which, again, about the only category of those I can think of where I was really like, okay, that's enough of this shit, is the Matchbox puzzles. And then just the last sliding puzzle to me was just kind of, ugh. Like, I believe it's actually the last story puzzle in the game is a sliding box puzzle. And for some reason, I sat there and stared at this thing for 2 hours and just was like, how I slide box, but, and then the storyline was okay, except for that twist. I'm still not sure how to process that, and part of me wants to go on to the other games to see how they managed to top that, and the other part of me is like, I'm not sure I want to go down that insane road yet,
That's what actually I was going to ask you if you wanted to go down that stuff. It's like, I've played this one. I played the one that you played. And, like, the story was there. I'm sure I skipped a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Cause I just wanted to play it for the puzzles.
Yeah.
Mainly. And then it's kind of weird that a lot of them are hidden. You have to find a puzzle basically through a puzzle.
Yeah.
I own the...
Diabolical Box would be the second, and Unwanted Future would be the third.
Not even that. I have the Miracle Mask one.
Oh,
which is like, what?
Like sixth?
Fifth one? I think it was the first 3DS one.
Oh, yeah. Miracle Mask would be the first 3DS one, yeah.
So I bought that, and it's actually a game I've never finished, but kind of the same thing where the story's there, if you care. I didn't. I just wanted to play the puzzles, and just one of those pick up and goof around things, and just have never gotten around to actually finishing the game. But I'm with you where, the puzzles were fun, not the greatest variety, since yes, they do reuse the ideas and stuff, but there's a ton of puzzles in there.
Yeah.
So, I think you get your money's worth, and it's definitely one of those games that you can introduce to your parents.
Yeah.
So here, Mom, play a game.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I was introduced to this series based on my love of Phoenix Wright. Somebody suggested Professor Layton to me.
Well, yeah, because they did a crossover.
Yeah, which I still need to get around to playing, which hopefully I'll be able to do that, because I actually had to play most of Curious Village. Wow. Good job, brain. On my old DS Lite. Because my 3DS screen is basically kaput now. Done. So, yeah.
You and technology right now are not the best of friends.
Yeah, no. Well, the 3DS I've known for a while was going. Because remember, one of the first, I think it was way back, I'm talking, I think it was it might have been episode 5. I asked you, and I actually asked, the community, 411, etc., 3DS or Vita, because it was going in and out then. And, yeah. Yeah, so, I probably actually will at some point play Diabolical Box and Unwound Future, and maybe try to find Lost Spectre and Miracle Mask and whatever the 6th one is called, and Layton versus Wright, and yeah, but really not too much to say about it. It was a pretty solid game all around, and gave my brain a nice workout. Speaking of giving brains workouts, kind of, sort of, your game.
Yes. Boy, what a flash from the past this was. And I really hate myself for saying that the first podcast of 2016, I have an unfinished game. And it's not from a lack of trying.
Yep.
But goddammit, Sega Genesis games can be hard. And unfortunately, it's not like some of the games we always play where I'm just stuck here and I can't beat a part. It's, I got beat here and I have to play the whole game again to reach said spot. Mm-hmm. And it's time consuming. But my game was Rocket Knight Adventures for the Sega Genesis. It came out originally September 3rd of 1993. It was developed and published by Konami, and its main designer, Nobuya Nakazato, I think is how you're going to pronounce that.
Sure, why not?
Was a big proponent of a lot of the Contra games. And so you can see some of the difficulty in these parts. But really, I will say the game is not oh my god, over the top, how the hell am I going to beat this? Mm-hmm. It's more difficult because this game doesn't want to know what it is. And that's both good and bad. Basically, you play as Sparkster, who's a possum knight, of all things, and you fight a bunch of pigs and owls, and it's your normal 16-bit platformer. But its twist, you have a rocket pack that you can power up and you can fly across the screen, and especially at the beginning of this first level, you're like, alright, I'm just gonna have to learn how to use this rocket system because it's gonna be all over the puzzles. But here, we'll just walk you through stage 1 and show you this is what this game's gonna be about. So you do that for the first part of this stage, right? Yep. So you rocket yourself around, and then you end up at a bridge and you fight your first mini-boss, who is your typical, it's a pig and a tank, and then you have to shoot, or you have to hit it with your sword enough where it blows up, the bridge goes down. And now you're in a different part of the game where you are going down the river. I'm
going to stop you right there for a second just to point out something I found funny.
Pig in a tank.
Yeah, I love how you said typical pig in a tank.
Did you not grow up in the 8-bit, 16-bit era along with me?
I did, but I still, even to this day, find that you can utter the sentence, typical pig in a tank, and have it be an actual valid point. Absolutely fucking hilarious.
Absolutely. But, so anyway, so now you are going down the river with the top part of this tank, basically rafting around, and you have to defeat it while it's bouncing around the screen. It goes from there to a side-scrolling shooter like Galaga's up and down. Gradius, right?
Yeah.
It's the left to right, like
Gradius,
Defender.
Something like that, whatever.
Defender and all that. So it's left to right, just side-scrolling shooter where you are now full-on rocket and swinging your sword at pigs with balloons strapped to their backs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fight a giant snake. And then once you defeat the snake, you blast through a castle wall, and now you do more of your rocket puzzle platforming, till you fight a snake thing that is like poking holes through the ceiling and the walls and dropping stuff on you, and then you're finally done with stage 1.
Nice.
So and that goes on for the whole game, where it's like, we came up with 30 different types of games, and we made it one game. Because there's, like, after stage 1, there are maybe 2 more rocket platforming puzzles. You then go, you have your underwater level, you have one of those levels where I want to say it's lava, but it's not. It's like this really shiny substance that will rise up and down, and it's a one-hit kill, but it brings the you have to work your way across and be at the top of it when it goes all the way up. I mean, a lot of platformers and stuff will do that, but it basically is a game that went, this was cool, this was cool, this was cool, this was cool. We're doing it all. You have a train sequence where you're on a minecart and you have to do all the timing jump puzzles and stuff that like Donkey Kong Country did. Mm-hmm. And this game just really has it all. And it's in it with the bosses, and it's like, no joke, you will be sitting there, and it's so much trial and error after a while, because you'll hit a new stage, and unlike most platformers or most games where the farther you get, it really starts testing your skills, it's just giving you something new to learn. Like, and then all of a sudden the platform, it's one of those where the screen is moving up and the platforms are coming down, and you don't want to be squished. And then you're going to the left while a giant robot is following after you. And once you get there, you get in your own robot, and you basically play Rock'em Sock'em Robots with him. And like I said, it's so weird to explain this game, because this game is 30 different games.
Yeah.
And they do all of them well. There's not one part where I go, oh, this just doesn't work.
Huh.
But it is difficult. I did get to the last stage, and as we were setting up, that's where my run ended. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times I said, what am I doing? What am I doing? Is this working? It's like,
there was at least 5 times while I was setting up alone, and I was only setting up for like probably 10 minutes.
Because, like I said, it's trial and error. It's, does this work? No. Does this work? No. Does this work? No. Okay, let's try this. And then you finally figure it out, and then it's going. But the cool thing about this game, then you go back to the beginning because it's Genesis, and you work your way through, and it basically you start remembering all these different parts, and the game gets easier and
muscle
easier
memory
as you go. But here's where the game kind of gets you. Unless you want to put it on childish mode, it starts you out, you get 3 continues and 2 lives. Mm-hmm. Now, at the beginning, you can collect some lives and make it better, but like once you get that first continue, it's, here you go, you got 2 guys. Mm-hmm. Ready, set, go. And that's easy, by the way.
Oh, hello.
I mean, that's easy is the typical mode. Mm-hmm. That's what it starts you on without changing any setups. But if you want to play it on quote-unquote normal, it's 1 life, 1 continue. Good luck.
Yeesh. Ugh. Yikes. Yeah, that's, no, I would not have the patience for that anymore. No.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely different. But that's what we grew up on, man. That's what we did.
Yeah. But now, again, and this is, again, kind of, speaking as a 27, almost 28-year-old, looking back on that now, going, I don't got time for that shit anymore. I don't have the time or patience. Yeah.
So, any questions?
No, you pretty much covered everything I'd really had questions about. Because I could tell, again, as it's kind of a pattern for us, I came over to kind of get set up, and you were making another attempt at it, and I could kind of tell how things were going just based off of that attempt. Yeah.
Well, but that attempt, I'll let you know, I was stuck on the Rock'em Sock'em Robots part. Like, 5 straight attempts ended there, because, I mean, it's not that difficult, but every time he hits you, it takes a quarter of your life. So you have 4 hits that you get to take, and his reach is a little bit longer than yours. So, it was just timing it right, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. So, here I am, like, 5th, 6th attempt at finally getting there, and I finally got past that, which was the end of Stage 5. And then when you came in, I was learning Stage 6, basically, and somehow was able to do that on one run. And then in came Stage 7, which I spent, 5 minutes on a boss, never doing any damage to him because I was doing it wrong. And then once I did figure it out, then it became difficult of controlling myself because you're then rocking yourself across the screen. And again, it is really fun as long as you really want to test yourself in a platforming game.
Okay.
But it's a very solid platformer.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll allow it. I guess the one other comment I will make is, I really loved what little music I heard.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. The music is great all around. Every stage has its own feel to it. Kind of the sound that you were hearing in that last stage. But yes, the music is great. The sound effects are pretty good. It does have a sense of humor at times. There are robots that say "hey" basically when they die. It's just being goofy.
Yeah.
There is a part in it where you come through a state or a door and there's a present there. And Sparkster gets these question marks going, and then an enemy pops out. It was nothing happens. You swing once, he's dead.
Yeah.
It was just a little humorous thing.
Yeah.
Another little. Speaking of, there's so many different parts and I just remembered there was one really funny part where you think you see the princess, and then it ends up being this weird dude who then you end up playing hot potato with, basically. Where he throws a bomb and you have to hit it back where then it lands on him. It's just so many different things in this game. It's tough to even... I wish I would have just... Oh, I'm in a new room. Now I'm playing a version of this. And I could have spent an hour and a half telling you all of the different games I played in this one game.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sounds about right. So, you're going to try and go back and finish that at some point?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure I'll be giving it multiple attempts throughout whenever. But...
Yeah. So, that'll about do it for this episode's games. Now it's time to talk about games we'll be playing on the next episode, starting with our co-played game, which actually is going to be another step forward in our multimedia plans, basically, since this is kind of the episode of expansion and branching out into new things. We're going to try to show you some of the gameplay process for Bobble.
Yeah, Bobble. Get ready for a friendship to end, I think.
So
this is also, by the way, the first time the co-play game is actually being co-played.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. We, as Randy kind of alluded to, I'm having some technical issues right now, so hopefully we can get those fixed and kind of get this out in a timely fashion. But,
Okay, so I want a technical decision from you right now, because, it's arbitrary the way we do things anyways, as far as completion and still on the backlog. Whether, like, a game like Deus Ex, even though you and I will never play it again, technically... still ends up on our backlog because we haven't finished it.
Yeah.
But it will always be there. Bobble. It, for people that don't know, has the old Ghosts and Goblins ending. Where you beat the game and it says to get the true ending, you have to beat it again. How do we get it off the backlog? Do we beat the first 100 levels and the boss and get the bad ending, or do we have to get the good ending to get it off our backlog?
I would say bad ending because the site that I kind of based a lot of the term backlog off of, honestly, the backloggery.
Yeah.
Has unbeaten, beaten, and completed. And it considers a game off your backlog when you beat it. And beating is defined as you have seen credits roll.
That works. I just wanted to clarify.
So, yeah, because honestly, I will be fucking amazed if we make it to level 100 and the boss. One time, much less two. I find your abundance of faith disturbing, sir. We'll just put it that way.
I have faith in me. I don't know about you.
That's exactly
and
what I'm fucking saying.
And that is why, as you said, we are expanding it and showing gameplay, because the yelling I am going to do at you is unseen. I have a feeling.
Alright.
Like, we do Super Mario Maker. That's just me laughing at your inability to play video games at times. Especially platformers, which Bobble kind of is. You have your genres that you kick my ass in. Yeah. Platformer is not one of them.
Yeah.
So now, to have my life in your hands, it was going to be interesting.
Alright. And then your game is going to be the kind of indie game Thomas Was Alone.
Yes.
Which okay.
I'm curious. It's from what I've seen, you're a box, and you go around, and somehow his name is Thomas, and he's by himself, and they made it a video game. So I'm really curious what I'm going to get myself into. But
sounds legit.
But we've played games like this, like the Unfinished Swan. Mm-hmm. What the hell is that? And we actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I figured, why the hell not? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. And then my game, in probably one of the most interesting turnarounds in Backlog Busting history, is I'm going to go from, technically, I'm going to go from playing a very masculine game for our co-play, God of War 2. I'm going to be taking a break from that to dive into fantasy dress-up, because I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy X2. Yep. So to go from Kratos, the hyper-masculine God of War, to Yuna, Riku, and Pain playing dress-up with the garment grid.
You see, you said fantasy dress-up, and my brain went somewhere completely different.
That's why.
And I was going.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I better move on with this sentence here.
Family-friendly show, Wes. Calm down.
Have you listened to this show lately? Have you listened to me lately? Even before this episode.
That's true. Okay.
Remember when one of the main comments we've gotten on Mario Maker?
Yeah, you cuss a lot in Mario Maker, which is funny because, especially off camera, I cuss way worse.
Yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, that's a story for a whole different time and a different podcast and a different lifestyle. So yeah, those are the 3 games that you got to look forward to on January 19th.
Yep.
I guess is the next episode.
Yep, that would be about right.
So before we close this up, it's been a few weeks since we have gotten together. Mm-hmm. Any big news stories that really ever jumped out to you? Anything that you've...
Well, the one thing I've been trying to do is I have... It seems to be kind of like the end of the year, the holiday season is the time for, again, charity marathons kind of thing. And, okay, there we go. Got it loaded up. We had, the Zeldathon just ended. There was a week-long Zelda marathon, that raised $250,000 for, Help Hope Live. There we go. Which is a charity that kind of helps with, medical expenses, kind of keeping the lights on for families with medical expenses. And then, of course, there is the kind of like the granddaddy of them all of gaming marathons. Awesome Games Done Quick is, just started, today as we record this, Sunday. And it's been going, I think, for, the better part of a day now. Like 13, 14 hours. As I speak, they are at $113,589 raised for the Prevent Cancer Foundation in less than 12 hours.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. So, that was kind of the thing I was doing, since we're announcing our charity marathon, which isn't going to get nearly that many donations, because it's only going to be 24 hours, first off. Just that sort of thing. I was just like, well, it's the season. We're announcing ours. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. Mm-hmm. So, as far as other news goes, I didn't really spot too much that jumped out as me as...
Except for the biggest news of the year.
Yeah, Uncharted 4.
No. Well, I mean, not getting delayed is sad, but again, I'd rather a game be done right than pushed out. Looking at you, Assassin's Creed. I'm talking about the big news. Hideo Kojima is with Sony.
Yep. Which I actually was kind of expecting, to be honest, because look at what he's done since Metal Gear Solid 2, basically. Metal Gear Solid has basically become a PlayStation franchise at this point, and it's only until very recently with Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain that they went to the Xbox and the...
And notice what got him.
Yeah. Exactly. So he's like, you know what? I'm starting my own Kojima productions with Sony and hookers and blackjack. On second thought, forget the game company, forget Sony, I'll take the hookers and blackjack, just a Futurama joke. Anyway.
So my question to you is, obviously we're not gonna get Silent Hills.
Yeah.
Unless Sony then goes and buys the rights, which they could.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Konami is obviously more interested in pachinko machines than the video games.
Oh, speaking of which, I'll get to that in a second. Finish your thought, sorry.
But my question is, do you think he and Guillermo del Toro hook back up and make a game?
Absolutely.
You think
absolutely.
Because they both have been, or especially Guillermo del Toro is like, I really want to do this. Do you think it's going to be anything like PT?
Absolutely. I think that, I think Silent Hills IP be damned, I think they are going to try to make that into a thing now, because every single person that had been publicly linked to the project, Kojima, Del Toro, Norman Reedus, all have said, we really wanted to fucking do this, and it sucks that Konami is being Konami, So, I think now that Kojima has his own, has his deal with Sony, has his own production company, absolutely, I think we will see some sort of project between those, involving those guys again, whether it's under the Silent Hills name or not, or if they just go, it's PT now, it was supposed to be, I forget what the exact explanation for PT, what the PT name was.
Playable teaser.
Playable teaser, there we go, thank you. But they just go, well, we can't call it Silent Hills anymore, so it's PT now. Fuck it. Full time, So,
PFG, playable full game.
Yeah, brilliant. But, yeah, I definitely think we'll see that happen. The thing that you saying pachinko rattled loose in my brain is SNK is coming back into gaming. I believe it was SNK.
Yes.
But from pachinko machines, and somebody raised the very good point of that's probably going to be Konami in a couple of years. when they inevitably fail at that business, they're going to sit there and go, gaming's still kind of going strong, isn't it? Fuck, somebody get Hideo on the phone. Like, well, that's what the vengeful part of me wants, but, I don't, as much as I've shit on Konami in this entire mess, I really do, I don't wish them to go out of business, but at the same time, it's like, they could have handled this entire situation so much better than they have. And the fact that they basically, ran Kojima out of town on a rail, some of the things I've heard about, not to get too far into it because, obviously, you haven't played it yet, I haven't played it yet, but a lot of the things I've heard about Phantom Pain's third act, the thing I've heard about it is that it felt a little bit rushed because, Konami went,
we want this out now.
Yeah, we want this out now. Fuck you, you're going out the door too. Yeah, and then their entire treatment of the situation after Phantom Pain came out, where they were like, we're not saying anything officially, blah, blah, blah. He's on vacation, full on denial mode, and then, oh, by the way, even though we most likely were at fault for this game not being as good as it could be, and yet somehow in spite of that, it still managed to win critical acclaim at stuff like, at the Game Awards. We're not going to let the guy who has literally given so much of his creative work for this company and made us a lot of this money go to this ceremony and collect his awards when another thing is he's very obviously pretty close friends with Jeff Keighley. And Jeff was even like, this fucking sucks.
Well, listen, that last part, yes, it sucks, and I think as fans, we would love to have him there and, accept his awards and stuff. But that's any kind of business where there's bad publicity. You don't want to let him go out into something like that where there's going to be a lot of the gaming press and just try to stir up shit.
Yeah.
It's like they're just trying, at this point, they're just, not him, but just in case let's just move on. He doesn't need to be there for this. It's whatever. It's like, I'm not saying they're right, but I understand their thought process. You brought up Game Awards. We had our own Game Awards style podcast on the last episode. One thing I don't think we brought up, because I don't think it had finished, and if I'm retelling an old story, I apologize, it's been a while. Your thoughts on the stupid GameFAQs 2015
the best game ever
tournament won by Undertale, which I'm not saying is going to be is a terrible game. It's not a game I'm going to play because it keeps getting linked to Earthbound. And everything I look on, reminds me of a crappier version of Earthbound. The graphics are terrible, and it looks like it has that kind of humor. I do like the idea of, if you play it once and you go back to play it again, all the characters remember.
Yeah.
I love that.
It is a very meta game from what I've heard.
That interests me a little bit, but it's like sometimes you go too far with it, and that's what I'm kind of worried about Undertale. I mean, if you love it, I understand, but best game ever. I understand this was some people's point of, let's just ruin a contest, really. But that's what makes me sad. I like seeing what the community feels about a game that came out last year compared to a game that comes out 20 years ago. And then next year, how do you feel about that game now?
Yeah.
And as it gets farther away from your memory bank.
Yeah, the thing to me is a lot of people were treating it as this sacrilegious, oh my god, the world is ending thing. There was a lot of overreaction to this. I could understand being a little bit upset, but there was I remember reading a whole bunch of just all caps diatribes about the integrity of this GameFAQs poll of the day thing. It's just fucking really?
Welcome to the internet, Wes.
I know.
You've been there. We've had this conversation.
I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and actually done it a few times myself, because a lot of people, I remember getting into discussions, back when I worked on a gaming website, I remember getting into discussions with people where they thought I was angry or, having, tone argument, angry or, Furious, there we go, sorry. Because I had, capitalized 3 words in my sentence.
You capitalizing mother.
Yeah. It's just
But no, I mean, the way I look at it, I'm disappointed just because I was really curious about how it went. I caught it. I never voted, but I caught it it was in the second round. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting just to kind of see where things went. And then to see that so many people didn't take it serious, which, if you didn't take it serious, I don't care.
The other part of it, though, to me is, yes, Undertale, the reason why it was getting such a strong surge of support is because it just came out. And it has caught fire in the internet community. And yes, it's going to get a lot of votes from people who are going, okay, this is a good game, and and it's a question of new versus old. Where, this is in the zeitgeist right now and people want to talk about it. So yes, it's going to get voted for. You know? So, I'll be interested to see how it does next year, because I think now the pendulum's going to swing back in the other direction, and it's going to lose to a game it probably shouldn't lose to. You know? Objectively speaking. You know?
Yes.
And, and it'll be interesting to see if the same people have the same reaction of, why is Undertale losing to, you know, Rocket Knight Adventures? I mean, obviously that's not going to be in the actual bracket, but you get what I'm trying to say. You know? And that was just me pulling a random name out of my hat. I'm not trying to make a definitive statement on Undertale versus Rocket Knight Adventure, because I personally have played neither of them. You know? So, but it'll be interesting to see where that kind of pans out. So, anything else to talk about?
No, I honestly was just kind of curious how you felt about that goofiness, and
yeah. Because, well, let's take a look at it.
There's Undertale. So
yeah. Let's see here.
So your final four in this thing were Super Brothers, Smash Brothers Melee, which I'm surprised it made the top four, going against Undertale, and then you had the Ocarina of Time that has won this before as well, and Super Mario RPG. Mm-hmm. I get them.
Which there's one that I'm kind of interested. Super Mario RPG versus Metal Gear Solid 3 and RPG 1. That's an interesting. I think that would actually be an upset to me.
The thing that I love about this, and again, especially when Undertale wins the whole thing, I'm not going to get too much solace in it, but the fact that the two of the games that, yes, I went over the top on about the podcast, but I'm not saying are absolutely terrible games, were Earthbound and Shadow of the Colossus, and they both went down to Metal Gear Solid.
But, you know, I'm trying to spot Undertale again.
I go to the Undertale one?
Yeah.
Right there.
Let's see here. Undertale.
Undertale beat Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
It beat Fallout 3. It beat Super Mario World.
Okay, that one's getting a little ridiculous.
And then it beat Pokemon Red Blue.
I'll buy that for $1.
And then it beat Super Mario 64.
Ooh.
And then Smash Brothers and Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, there are a couple in there that's just kind of like, not sure about that one, but again, I can't really make a qualitative judgment statement because, you know, and I think also some of this might be a lot of people, it may just be, I'm voting for the one I've heard of, you know?
Yeah, I got that.
You gotta remember now, there are people there are a lot of people that voted in this contest that, you know, are teenagers that played Undertale, but weren't even fucking born when Super Mario 64 came out. You know? Like, I had the moment the other day of, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was, but we were having a conversation about something that happened in the early 2000s. And somebody went, I was 2 years old when that happened. And I'm sitting there like, I was 15. God damn it. You know? Are you fucking kidding me right now? When this happened, I was, you know, it was some ridiculous, it was a comparison like, it was something like, when the event happened, I was older than the time between the event and now. You know? And I was like, holy fucking shit. Screw you, time, you know? But, you know, I'm not trying to justify it or explain it away, but as I try to do those things. But just kinda, you gotta remember that there is an entire generation of gamers that was not even born when stuff like Super Mario RPG, or Ocarina of Time, or Super Mario 64 came out, that have just gotten to play Undertale and go, wow, that was good. Okay, I'm voting for it. You know, especially GameFAQs, which is like the haven for, you know, teenage gamers who need the guide to figure out what the fuck they're doing. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, teenagers. We didn't have that when we were young.
Except we kind of did, because GameFAQs is 20 years old. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. We walked uphill both ways in the snow, goddammit.
I blew in my cartridges.
Even though you're not supposed to do that.
I don't care. I thought it was well. Anyways.
Anyway, the train has gone off the tracks and the tracks have melted. So this is probably a good enough point as any to wrap this on up. So yeah, just brief recap of all the announcements real quick. March 3rd.
If you're still with us.
Yeah, if you're still with us, which, holy shit, thank you. March 3rd, we're going to have that 24-hour live stream marathon. More details will be coming out on that in the coming months. We're going to be hopefully starting a new Let's Play series on the YouTube channel, starting with Bobble here in the next month or so. We are joining the WQM network, so we'll be available on Spreaker now. And yeah, that's about it. So until next time, as Will Weave once said, play more games.
I don't know where to go.
Grab that button. Wait, what? But, you know.
Nope. God damn it.